Reason Magazine, Brian Doherty. Obama talks earnestly of simple laws that could have prevented the Oregon shooting, but he didn't name any. What simple law could stop this? Look, folks, this is crucial. I don't mind being redundant. Just pummel people with this. The dream of gun control exists. It existed on the campus, this college in Oregon. It exists in every school campus in this country, practically. Every one of them is a gun-free zone. Every one of them is the utopia the left wants. Every damned one of them. There aren't any guns in the hands of good people. And yet guns still end up there. Obama says we've got to stop this. Nobody can tell us how to do this. Unless you just eliminate guns. And even if you tried that, even if there were a new law that said the only people in America who could legally own guns were law enforcement, federal, state, local, Secret Service, things like that, do you think that would end the practice of guns being in the hands of criminals? They don't have a solution for this. The advocates of gun control do not have a solution, folks. If you are a well-intentioned, big-hearted person and this kind of thing rips your heart out and makes you sad and makes you cry and you're longing for a solution to where this kind of thing doesn't happen anymore, let me just tell you that the people on the Democrat side, the left side of the country with their ideas will not solve this. They do not have a solution. We've had a blueprint. We've got a testing ground, if you will, on every school campus. Where do these mass shoot? Why are there school shootings anyway? Why are there school shootings and not other places? Because everybody knows there are no guns allowed there, and there are kids there, and security people don't even have guns. I mean, it all makes sense. Bottom line is you cannot fix this with gun control. And we'd think that would have been learned by now. And I maintain to you, even if people like Obama and every other elected Democrat, Hillary Clinton, even if they know that you cannot solve this with gun control, it will not stop them from pushing for it. The roots of this can be found in two places: cultural rot, which has led to a lack of respect for the sanctity of life itself and for people. And the second thing is a culture that is making mentally ill people into cult heroes through media and social media. Oh, I know. The Oregon shooter was not even a student at the school. He went there for this very purpose. He went there to kill Christians. You want to stop these kind of things, we've got to clean up the soul of our nation. We have to stop making cult heroes out of mentally ill people. And we have got to somehow reverse this lack of respect and sanctity for life itself. This story doesn't have anything to do with the incident per se, but it does have to do with something I just mentioned. I found the most incredible story on the New York Post today, in the New York Post. I read it. I read the headline, and this has got to be an intriguing story. The headline of the story is, "I poured drain cleaner in my eyes to blind myself." You will not believe this story. This is a story supporting what this woman did. I poured drain cleaner in my eyes to blind myself. For most people, going blind is their worst nightmare, but for this North Carolina woman, it was a dream come true. All right, that's kind of perverted there, folks. I mean, this is already, we know we're off the rails here, just in that opening sentence. For most people, going blind is their worst nightmare, but for this North Carolina woman, it was a dream come true. I'm not going to mention her name. The newspaper story does, but I'm not, because I don't want people to get misdirected on this. But the woman is 30 years old. She was so desperate to be blind that she poured draining cleaner in her baby blue eyes to wipe out her eyesight, and she couldn't be happier. Wait, now it gets better. This woman, 30 years old, suffers from an illness called, wait for it, an illness called body integrity intensity disorder, BIID. Body integrity identity disorder is a disease that causes able-bodied people to strongly desire a disability. And then this 30-year-old woman is quoted in the story. I really feel this is the way I was supposed to be born, that I should have been blind from birth. The afflicted woman knew from a young age she wanted to be blind and would attempt to harm her eyesight by staring at the sun while blind simming or even pretending to be blind. By the way, this story can be found in the everyday news pages of the New York Post, not in the oddball weirdo you won't believe it section. By the time the woman was 21, the idea of being blind was a nonstop alarm that was going off, and she sought the help of a sympathetic psychologist to help her carry out her ultimate desire in 2006. The psychologist gave her eye-numbing drops before sprinkling a few droplets of drain cleaner into each pupil. It hurt, let me tell you. My eyes were screaming, and I had some drain cleaner going down my cheek, burning my skin, she said. But all I could think was, I'm going blind. It's going to be okay. Dr. Michael First, professor of clinical psychiatry at Columbia University, says that people who suffer from body integrity identity disorder cannot control their need to be disabled. I never heard of this until I read this story today. I've certainly never met anybody that had it. These people are aware, this is the Columbia University psychiatry professor, folks. These people are aware that this feeling of theirs is unusual, and they know it's coming from within them. They can't explain it. The woman is now studying for a degree in education and is hoping to help other blind people live an independent life. She hopes that by sharing her story, it will encourage other sufferers of body integrity identity disorder to seek professional help. Okay, so standard news story in an everyday American newspaper with wide readership, the New York Post. Blind integrity identity disorder. And the woman is portrayed here as finally realizing her dream. But now everybody knows her story. She has also achieved great fame, or, well, she's on the way. This will do it. And she's going to have lots of media attention, and they'll be asking her about that, and she will have all kinds of answers about blind or body integrity identity disorder, and a whole lot of really confused and unstable Americans all over the country are going to see this, and they're going to react to it, some of them in a way that, hey, man, you know what? Look at what they should. Everybody knows who she is. It's a way to get fame. And this could trigger in a whole lot of people a sudden belief, yeah, you know what? I know I'm unhappy, and now I know why. I'm supposed to be disabled. And who knows what some people might start doing in order to make themselves disabled now. Because this is portrayed as absolutely normal. And she even had the assistance of a Columbia University psychiatry professor and a medical doctor who actually participated in pouring Drano in her eyes to make her go blind in order to realize a life ambition. Yeah, it was just a few weeks ago. We had a story about a guy cut off an arm or something. Another example of body identity integrity disorder. He knew that he wasn't supposed to have both arms or both legs or something. Look, there are mental disorders all over the world. There are people that are mentally ill and so forth, but we're not treating them properly. We're making cult heroes out of some of them. We're making them, in other cases, cultural leaders in the sense that they are really in touch with themselves. So, and it's really dangerous. That, as much as guns, is an explanation for what's going on. These are sick people. And yet we're treating them as though they're rational and we want to apply rationally made laws to rational or irrational people. And then we end up blaming the law or the lack of it. And it's because of political correctness that we cannot honestly talk about mental illness and deal with it. Half of the homeless are mentally ill. They should not be on the street. They should be institutionalized. But somebody came along some time ago and said, it's a violation of their human and civil rights. And plus, they're a great political weapon. It's a great way to blame Republicans for not caring about people. You never hear about the homeless during Democrat administrations, other than that one story from L.A. last couple of weeks, which still puzzles me how that happened, but nevertheless it did.